Bongani Gininda continues to piece together this puzzle of the investigation into the murder of soccer star Senzo Meyiwa. Has now told the court about how he corroborated accused number 2. This is Bongani Ntanzi's confession statement. Gininda took over the case in 2018, and it was through his investigations that the arrests of 5 men were made. These are the 5 now on trial for the 2014 murder of the soccer star. And our Linda Mnisi joins us for the latest on this. That was the big issue, the marquee issue yesterday, the corroboration of accused number 2's confession. Why is it so important?
It's important, Iman, because number one, like we indicated yesterday, Brigadier Bongani Gininda says that's when they actually started corroborating what they had been told in the confession of accused number 1, and the mentioning of the alleged involvement of other people and how they went on to check who these people are in terms of accused number 3, 4 and 5. And he says once they had their names on Bongani Ntanzi's confession statement, they then did what they call a cold case analysis, because this is the cold case unit. They look at whether there are any outstanding cases that one suspect is involved in, and then they found that in terms of accused 3, 4 and 5, they are in prison at the time when they were investigating, but they were implicated then by accused number 2, that at that particular time they were out, and this is what they committed, or this is how they participated in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. But secondly, Iman, the confession statement of Bongani Ntanzi goes into what happened inside the house. In fact, he alleges, or the alleged confession says, that he was one of the 2 people that went inside the house, and it speaks about a scuffle, and that scuffle and 2 shots being fired. And Brigadier Bongani Gininda says, if you recall, the statements of the people that were inside the house said there were 2 people that entered the house. They spoke of a scuffle. They spoke of shots fired. Whether they say 3 shots were fired or 2 shots were fired, but they spoke about shots that were fired inside the house. And that is corroborated by the ballistic reports of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, who says there were 2 shots that were fired. And those shots, one of them struck Senzo Meyiwa. And he then goes on to say, that's Brigadier Bongani Gininda, that in the confession statement, in one of Bongani Ntanzi's confession statements, he speaks about how the firearm was faced towards Senzo Meyiwa's chest. And he says that is consistent with what the doctor who conducted the post-mortem said, that it was at close range, closer to the chest, and consistent with the findings of that post-mortem report. So he continues to look into, the alleged involvement. And he goes as far as saying the actual firearm was allegedly recovered from accused number 3 in a separate matter. And this is the firearm that was tested in that Cleveland matter. And once it was tested with the exhibits or the projectiles from the Senzo Meyiwa crime scene, they couldn't find sufficient evidence to link that these were fired from the same gun until they went to the actual police station where the gun was kept to fire tests on the actual gun. And that is when they found matches on this gun, that this is the gun that shot and killed Senzo Meyiwa. But also it was recovered from accused number 3, who, according to witnesses who were inside the house, had dreadlocks, and was wearing a particular top in the form of a khaki top.
Yeah. Really interesting. And we get such an education through testimony and even through the cross-examination about how, in a sense, a gun and the way that it interacts with those projectiles is almost as unique as a fingerprint. So it's very hard it might be even easier then to prove the link and that it was fired from that. Linda, we'll leave it there. As always, just after the 10 o'clock hour, right? We're expecting proceedings to continue.
Absolutely.